Okay, so I am going to tell you exactly how I use Trello to plan my content. So in your Trello board, mine looks a bit like this. If you don't have Trello yet, I will leave a link down below that you can use to sign up for your free account. And I will also leave the link, or there'll be a link around the screen somewhere, for my last video, which actually went through in a bit more detail. But I'm going to assume that you've watched that video, so you're up to the stage where you know how to access Trello and you know a bit about the different features within. So we're going to go up to the top right hand corner, click the plus button and create the board, and we are going to call this May Content 2021, and we're going to go ahead and select a picture or a colour, whatever it is you want to do, and click create, which ends up here. Powerups, I absolutely love Powerups. You get one with your free version. I get a few more because I have the paid version, but the one that we're going to need is the right, it was just there, the calendar. So I always use the calendar. It's probably the one that I use on every single board, but you'll be able to tell if it's on there. One, it will be written in here, and two, you'll be able to see it up there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go and click on that calendar, and you'll be able to see that this is what comes up. It's actually a calendar view, which makes it really, really handy. So for instance, for myself, every single Tuesday I have a new podcast episode. So what we need to do first is to add a list, and I'm just going to call this content for now. Once we've got that list there, and you do have to do this step first, we're going to go and click into the calendar power up, and then as you can see, it gives you all your cards in a calendar view. This is so helpful, because if, like me, you have certain things coming out on certain dates, I always have a podcast come out on a Tuesday, I always have a Trello video coming out on a Thursday. I can actually see it in place without having to scroll through lots and lots of cards. So the first thing I'm going to do is double click on the first Tuesday, and I'm going to add a card, and I'm going to go and give that a name. I'm going to leave it like this and click add. I'm going to do that for every Tuesday. Great stuff. So we've done all our podcasts, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the same for a Thursday for my Trello on YouTube. Perfect, that's those all in, and that's what it actually looks like. So I'm going to X out of this, and I'm going to go back to my main board, and what you're going to see here is that it has actually put all of those cards here. So now all I need to do is drag and drop those into different places on my board. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to make two lists. One is going to be called the podcast, and one is going to be Trello, and I'm just going to drag all of the podcasts over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and this. Actually, I'm just going to mess these up because no one actually really looks too much. So as you can see, they are no longer in chronological order. You've got the dates that they're coming out, which is perfect because that means I've got another board where I plan a bit more in depth into each of my podcast shows, but I can go in there, see who's coming up for the 18th of May and pop their name in there so that I know when I'm creating content, I know what content I need to be creating around that episode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the three dots, and I'm actually going to go to sort by, and I'm going to click due date, and that is going to sort that into chronological order for me. How cool is that? I bet you didn't know that, did you? No, I bet you do. So that is what we're going to do, and you see down there it said sort and list, and then successfully sorted. So I'm now going to go ahead, I'm going to create a few more lists for each of the different social media channels, and then I will be back to show you what that looks like. Okay, so there we go. We have got all of the different social media channels across that board. So I'm going to go in now, and in my content I want to have a card for theme. So the themes that I'm going to use, am I going to use a weekly theme? Am I going to use a monthly theme? So anything that you are going to use, anything that you want to create a theme or a story, anything like that, you can put in this card. I'm going to pop in there the focus. So I have put in there that the focus this month is going to be all about the Biz Grow Accelerator program. This is a evergreen coaching and training program that I'm launching this month. And that obviously that is how I want to, whenever I sit down to create content, that is what I want to have in the forefront of my mind, so that I know I'm planning content that goes with my actions and is going to bring engagement all around this this product focus, I suppose you could call it. Then we also want to be thinking about hashtags. We want to be thinking about captions, and we want to be thinking about images. This is basically what I would do at the start of each month, but I have this as a template, so you can actually save this as a template, make a copy, use your copy each month, and then you can just at the beginning of each month go in, make a copy, rename it, and you've got it there. It's all kind of done for you, so that this is you're not starting out from scratch every single time. So I'm gonna go back into the no, I'm not. I'm going to stay here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to work on captions. I've been planning my content on Trello. I was going to say Calendly, on Trello for a long time. So I have built up a bank of captions. You can, if you're just starting out, you can have a power hour where you sit and you just go through and you write captions, or you can just week by week write your captions for the coming week, and then you can save those for future use. I am all about repurposing your content. If you know anything about me, you will know that it is my main mission in life to get people, and I know this sounds really corny, but get people working less but doing more. So why am I going to sit week on week writing out my captions when I've got captions that I've spent hours writing that have done really well? I'm just going to reuse them. People are going to forget about them in a few months, or you can tweak them in a few months, but I have a basic set of captions that I just go in and I redo. So I'm going to show you that now, but before I do that, I need to import something from somewhere else. So I'll go ahead and do that and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. So I did previously try to record this, but something went wrong, so I've actually just skipped a step. So what we're going to do is I'm actually just going to grab my phone and I'm going to pull up my calendar, and then I'm going to go through and just have a look at any events that so we've got a bank holiday there, and I'm at the dentist there. And I'm having my hair done there, etc, etc. So you want to go through, and any important, or not so much important, but any events that are happening to you this month or you've got booked into your diary, you really want to go in and pop these in your calendar. The reason why, and I know it sounds really, really random, because what in the world has going to the dentist got to do with being a business coach and mentor? Well, I'll tell you what that is right now. So no, I'm not going to post a random picture of me at the dentist, or well, I probably will, but I'm not just going to post it of a view of, oh hey, here, look, I'm at the dentist, aren't I brave? So I have a history with the dentist. I had some really bad work done years when I was only 16, actually. It was it was just a nightmare. Anyway, so I have this fear of the dentist. So, but the way that I have managed to get to the point where I can go to the dentist on my own now, and I don't have to be sedated just to sit in the chair, is all to do with mindset, and it's all to do with the routine and the things I do before going to the dentist. So no, I'm not just going to post a random image of me at the dentist and be like, hey, look at me, I'm at the dentist. I'm going to create a caption that's going to tell people that story, how I overcome it, and then I'm going to add in how this can help them. So when you are creating your content for your business, you need to constantly be thinking of that angle. How is this going to help my client? Yes, everyone likes to see a bit of behind the scenes, and that's where the story will come in, and I'll be on my stories posting a bit more about it that way. But actually on your grid, in your posts, and even really in your story, it's still good to have that spin on why will my client, my ideal client, reading this, why will they be interested? Well, obviously for me, my clients are going to be like, oh well, okay, she's used that technique to get her mindset of the dentist turned round. She can use that for me to eliminate my fear of being on social media, or to grow my sales, or get over my fear of sales. So that is why I put anything like that in there. And even at the time, you might think, oh no, hair, why do I need to put that in there? Put it in, because then when you're really, really stuck for ideas, you know that that's coming up, and you can be like, wow, actually, do you know what? I've got my hair appointment, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create some content about that. Okay, so let's go back into our main view, and this is what we look like so far. So we've got the bank holiday in there, we've got the dentist in there, and we've got the hair all in this side content list. Okay, so what else are we going to put into this? When I get to this point and I'm actually thinking, okay, what now do I need to post? I'm going to go back into my calendar option, and I'm going to think, okay, right. So, and I tend to do it a week at a time, but then obviously by the end of this, you've got a nice full board. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to think about next week. So next week on the bank holiday, what am I going to post? Am I going to post on Instagram? So I'm going to pop a post. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to pop a post in that I'm going to post on Instagram that day. I'm going to post on Instagram on Wednesday. I've done the same thing again. And I want to post on Instagram on Saturday. Okay, so you can see by that how this goes, and obviously by the time I finished, this is just chocker block. So what I can then do is go in and start organising these into their columns. Now the best thing about this is that because they've got the dates in there, there is a logical order to it. I'm not just posting blind. So I can sort all my Instagram posts out here, sort it into chronological order, and then there we go. I know I need to create a post about this podcast episode. So I'm going to go ahead and plop all those in. Perfect. Okay. So you can see how I lay out and how I set out my my content calendar for the month. Obviously, like I said before, you will have banks of images, so banks of hashtags. So how do we start that? Right, this is where the magic really happens. So I am going to show you how I would start actually physically putting this content in here. So I can see straight away that on this day I've got this podcast coming out. So I'm just going to double click on that, and I'm not actually going to use the content because I haven't got it yet, because I haven't recorded it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and open up that card, and I'm going to select my computer, and I'm going to go in and pop in. So this was for this week's podcast, but we're just going to pretend. So I'm going to choose to upload that into the attachments. Okay, I'm also then going to go in, and in the description I am going to write a caption. So this is going to be blah 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 blah. Jerry is great. Jerry is lovely. Go follow. Listen to the podcast. Blah blah blah. We're going to click save. Then in this activity here, I am going to go ahead and I am going to write my hashtags. So we've got the photo right in front of us, which is really great. So when I'm doing this, and in the past I've used a spreadsheet, things like that, you haven't got that picture there. So I mean, I could do 10 hashtags for this and then go away and come back and put another 10 more in, or copy and paste from my hashtag bank, it doesn't matter. So anyway, we are going to put in here hashtag blah, hashtag. So you've got all of this here. And then when we click X, you can actually see your post. You can turn that off. All you need to do is go in there and remove cover, and then that turns it back into just a post like this. So if you're not visual and you like to just be able to see the details and keep it nice and crisp, then you might choose this, but I like to actually visually see. So if you don't have the image on there, these icons here are a really good way of understanding what you've done for that post and what you need to do without having a checklist. So this here relates to the description. And if I have got these lines on the outside of my card, I know that I've written my description. If I have got a comment, I know that I have got some hashtags in there. If I have got a paperclip, it means I know I've got an attachment. So it's just a visual way without having all the pictures as a cover. When you go in to your card, you can see it. It's on your calendar exactly as it is on your board. So you've got all that information there. So actually, once you've filled all of this out, when it comes to, if this is today, for instance, I just need to sit here and go through and actually copy and paste the things over to where they need to be. I don't have to sort of sift through the list and see what date it is. It's all there in your calendar view, which for me works perfectly. Okay, so there's just one last thing that I want to, there's two last things I want to talk to you about actually. So I spoke to you about these banks. What do I mean by that? Well, when you've been in business for some time, you've obviously researched your hashtags, you've used hashtags, some work better than others, some you get your ideal client from, others not so much. And what we want to do is we want to build up this really great bank of things that we can use that we don't have to constantly think about. Again, let's work less but do more. So I'm going to go back into this card that I've got here. And you remember this caption that I wrote out? Imagine that's like a really amazing caption that's going to get everyone booking. So I've just copied and pasted that. Then I'm going to go over into this card here and I'm going to pop that into the activity. So I use the activity because then when you've got lots and lots of captions, you could actually scroll through and pick the caption that best fits your image. So say in 6 months' time, I go to post something about a podcast, but I can't quite think of the best caption. I can just come in here, copy and paste it, and then maybe tweak it for that whoever is on that podcast. People aren't going to remember your comment in your caption in 6 months' time. So repurpose. It also works really well if I have used this caption on, say, Facebook, and then next week I'm kind of recycling my content for the next week. I can then go in and use that caption on Instagram and see how well it does over there. So we've done that with our captions. We're also going to do it with our hashtags that would all be spelt right and would be really amazing. Again, you can have just a continuous bank of hashtags, or you can sort them if you want to get really, really geeky. You could sort them into things like photography captions, podcast captions, product captions, brand captions, seasonal captions, and then you could have like lots of different options down there of all the different these are hashtags, all the different hashtags. You would have all the different hashtags down there, and you could just go in and be like, okay, it's Christmas, I need some Christmas themed hashtags. Click on your Christmas hashtags and it will bring it all up for you like this. But for today, I'm just going to go ahead and just pretend that we only need one. So again, you would just copy and paste, and then when you've got a long bank of these, you just simply scroll through and pick. And you don't even have to copy them all. You can pick, like, say 10 from this one, or you can have them organized into groups of 10, so then that way you're always mixing it up. So it's just a really, really good way of sitting down, and having everything at your fingertips and having it all really easy and ready to go. You don't really have to put, once you've got it sorted, you don't have to put so much thought into it. So the last thing that I wanted to discuss is labeling, and this is where I really get my geek on. So I'm going to go into one of the cards and I'm going to click on labels. I'm going to create a new label, and I am going to call this first one to do. I am going to do a new one, and I'm going to call this one scheduled. I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call this one, I'm just looking what colour would be nice. I'm going to call this one posted. Okay, so I'm going to untick these just to take it off of that. So I've got some labels on this board. Now what I'm going to do is, as I'm working my way through, so I might schedule myself, I don't know, at the beginning of the month, I might, once I've got my plan in place of what I'm posting when, I might go through and I might write all my newsletters for that month. So, or I might do like, I normally do a week in advance. So I'm going to assume that it's this week, and I have done this. So I've done this. So this is done, and it's been posted. And then for the free networking, I've just sat and I've tappity, I've typed all of that up, but it's not gone out yet because it's still only in the beginning of the week. So I'm going to use that as scheduled. And then I'm going to go into the newsletter again. This is for the week after, and I'm going to give that a label of to do. Then obviously this one's going to be to do. And what this actually means is that you don't have to do everything in chronological order. So if you have a day where you think, do you know what, I'm just going to sit and write blog post after blog post after blog post for the rest of this month, then what you've actually got is you can mark all of those as done, but then you can go in and you can pick out bits of quotes and nuggets of information, and that then spreads. So you don't have to sit here and go, right, okay, on Monday I need a blog post, I need an Instagram post, and I need this. You don't have to do that. You can do it in an order that feels right for you. So I am going to go and do this one to do. I'm just going to pop some more labels on just so that you can see. So you're starting to see that it looks so pretty. Right, okay, so we are, how does this help you? So you can, just one little tip here. So if you have got the words on it and you would prefer just the colour, then you can click on it once and it will take the word out and go so that you can just see the colour. Or if you like to be visual like I do, then you can have pretty much, because I can never remember what I've labelled things, but you can then go ahead and you can have the word on there. So when I come down on a Monday morning and I'm like, right, okay, what is it that I need to work on today? I can see that I need to get some of these newsletters done because I've got some coming out and I haven't actually done those. So it helps me to focus. In the calendar view, I'll show you what that looks like. So there you go. You can see here, and imagine this is full with all the different types of posts, and I can see on there what needs to be done and when it needs to, what needs to be done and when it needs to be done by, and it's just a really, really good visual representation and way of saying this is it, this is what needs to be done, and this is when it needs to be done. Once you're in this, if you're in this view and you think to yourself that you can't quite remember, obviously this would be a lot bigger, especially the Instagram. If you are showing the photos, you could have 30 posts if you post to Instagram daily. You want to know what needs to be done, so you've got a pocket of time, you've got a couple of hours, and you think, do you know what, I'm going to work on some content for the month. You just go into search, and then we're going to search, start typing to do actually, and it will bring the label up. If you click on that label, it will show you only cards with that label on. So you then, obviously you can see that it hasn't deleted any of the cards are still here. We've just filtered to show the things that we need to do. So I then, for instance, go in and I've written that newsletter out, and what I then want to do is untick it because it's not to do anymore, and tick it because it's scheduled. Or I might want to go into this one that was scheduled, but actually that's just been posted today, so I'm going to change that from scheduled to posted. And that's it. That's pretty much how I plan my content for the month. I will do a more in-depth, or not a more in-depth, but a more specific on building these banks of hashtags, these banks of captions, where I get them from. I'm going to talk to you about using done for you stuff, you know, paying someone to come in and write you some content, all of that kind of stuff to actually generate content that you can then repurpose and continually using so that you get your money's worth. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry it's been long. I'm sorry it's probably done your head in and I've probably overcomplicated it, but this is how I do it. If you need any help at all, please do go ahead and drop me a PM over on Instagram or on Facebook, or come and join one of the groups. I now have 2 groups. I have the She Makes Biz Talk, and it's so new I can't even remember what it's called. She Makes Biz Talk, that is a free networking a support group. But then I have the Female Business Owner with Michelle Mills Business Coach, I do believe it's called. I can't quite remember. There'll be linked down below. But that is where I'm actually going to be helping you guys to build your business. So that is the main focus in there. To enter into that group, you have to have a business. I will be checking people out, and you have to be active and you have to be committed to moving your business, because this is my time, this is my training, this is my thousands of pounds of education, this is my years and years of knowledge and expertise, and I really don't want it falling onto deaf ears. So the group is going to stay small, but the value in there is going to be amazing. So get yourself over there. Right, that is me gone. I will speak